Day 44, Cody, Wyoming. So I actually made it to Cody on the evening of day 42, coming out of Yellowstone. But it was already dark, and all I wanted was to find a place to spend the night. And on the next day, I made a big trip out to Little Bighorn and got back to Cody in the evening. And the only thing I had time to do was go to the Irma Hotel to have a drink and to take a picture with my old friend Buffalo Bill, who founded this town and built the Irma Hotel, named for one of his daughters. On the morning of day 44, I had a little bit of time to look around Cody. It was founded by Buffalo Bill in the late 1890s along the shores of the Shoshone River, which means the Snake River. And even back then, Buffalo Bill saw a great potential for irrigation there and building a dam on the river. But the technology just wasn't up to date. And eventually, not that much later, they actually built a dam there, and they called it the Buffalo Bill Dam and Reservoir. And when it was completed initially, it was the tallest earthen dam in the world. So they have a very nice museum and very nice visitor center. They tell you the story of how it was built, and it was really very hard project engineering-wise. They actually also had to build the longest tunnel in the state of Wyoming, and you see the entrance to it in the cliff to the left. But the most amazing thing is when you turn around and you look away from the dam along the reservoir in direction of Yellowstone, the view is just breathtaking. And the color of the water is the real color. I did not make any alteration to the pictures. It's because it's glacial water, and it has this special, amazing, inexplainable quality to it. You can tell it right away from any other kind of body of water. And then moving out from Cody, my next stop was a place called Hart Mountain. And there, during World War II, there was an internment camp for Japanese Americans. And you walk the path and you read the exhibits, and it's just mind-boggling that this was done to American citizens who were never even accused of having done anything wrong. So they had their buildings and their schools and their living arrangements. There is a memorial for those from the camp that went to serve in the army during World War II and were killed in combat. And to those people from the camp that eventually became U.S. senators or U.S. congressmen. And again, it's just freaking mind-boggling. Another fascinating thing I learned there is that during World War II, America shipped German prisoners of war and Italian prisoners of war to work like slave labor to take the place of the American farm boys who went to fight the war in Europe. And local farmers had a very, very strong preference for the Germans, and nobody wanted the Italians. Well, I guess the farm girls probably did want the Italians. Another fascinating thing about Hart Mountain, like the mountain itself, is that it's originated in Yellowstone. And about 50 million years ago, there was a volcanic eruption there that pretty much disconnected a huge slab of rock the size of the state of Rhode Island. And the movement of the stone, the heat that it generated, and the pressure released a whole bunch of gases from the rocks, and they created sort of like an air pillow. And this whole huge slab, the size of Rhode Island, basically hovered down the slope at a speed of 120 miles an hour. And that's how Hart Mountain traveled from around Yellowstone to around Cody, Wyoming in less than half an hour. Moving on, right after crossing into Montana, you pass something called the Smith Mine, which is an abandoned mine and the site of the worst coal mining disaster in Montana history, where 74 miners died when poisonous gases were released in the mine. And you also get a little bit of a preview of what's up ahead as far as the views go, getting into the Beartooth Mountains.